Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Camping Camper. Welcome back to our travel vlog. So we're here today in the Grand Teton National Park. It's been on our plan the whole time to come down this way, come through here for a few days, check it out. It's been great. This is the last leg of our trip, which really makes us sad, but we're gonna have to go home and go back to reality soon. We actually gotta leave in the morning. On the way here, what we had originally decided to do was to drive outside of the park and go around and come back to the Tetons. And then we decided the night before, well, let's just go through Yellowstone, go through the park, and then go into the Tetons. And we'll stop, we'll make a couple of videos along the way. We'll just take a little bit more time with it, and it'll be fine. Now, the only problem with that was, I think it was Sunday morning when we were traveling, we left, and we took the turn to go into the national park from West Yellowstone, and traffic was backed up. Oh, it was the most full that we seen the whole time we were there. So we decided, it's probably not worth it. We hung a right in the visitor center, cut the other way, and we did come around from outside of the park. Now, where we're staying at here and where we're at now is Gros Ventre. No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to say that all redneck. It's Gros Ventre. It's French. I believe Gros Ventre is the proper pronunciation. But it's the Gros Ventre Campground on Gros Ventre Road. It is a national park campground. It is within the limits of the national park. Now the website said that they had electric sites. I still haven't seen any electric sites. All of the sites that I've seen have been dry camping, and there are generator loops and non-generator loops. So you need to be sure that you have the correct one of wherever you want to stay there. This is loop A. We're all the way on the end. I thought it would be better as far as, possibly seeing more wildlife and stuff because there's more field over here. And on social media, on our way, we saw pictures of moose and all kinds of stuff coming through here all the time. And we've not seen anything. Not right here in the park, anyway. Now, I think what the issue with that is we've been leaving and driving around trying to find them all day. So we've not been hanging out here in the park. But in the morning, near the evening, we'll take a loop around the campground here, try to see what we can find, and we've not really found anything. Now, I will say about Gros Ventre Campground here, I would be leery about the size of the pad. Now, our camper on site 70 over here, A70, can fit in there with the truck in front of it. But that's because the camper is hanging off the back of the pad. There's a little curb on the back, and we're backed all the way up to it. And so that allows us to have the truck in front there. It says that can hold like a 34-foot rig or something like that. I'm not so sure about that. So ours is 29. Now I think with the nose cap, it ends up being 33. But it's because it's hanging off the back that we have a little bit of extra space. It was a little tricky getting in. It wasn't too horrible though. Also want to say that some of these loops are blacktop pads. Loop A, where we're staying here, it's all blacktop. Some of the loops have gravel pads. So that's just something to keep in mind. To me personally, it doesn't matter. Also want to let you know that because it is a national park campground, your park pass, if you have one, the senior pass or the access pass, give you 50% off here. So that's a pretty good discount. And if you have a small rig and you're looking for somewhere to stay, I will say that I passed the campground on Gros Ventre Road here and kept going down. And eventually I took another turn to the right. Now the GPS said that was still Gros Ventre Road. I'm not sure because it did make a marked turn to the right, but it went back to the National Forest. And I did find a National Forest campground. It was back in our ways. It was like 6 or 7 miles. Now I'm going to tell you that the pavement ended and then the gravel ended. And then I think, it got pretty muddy for a while, but it had rained the day before. So I don't know what the usual condition of that road is. And they are doing some road work on it as well. Thought I might find some wildlife back there. I never saw anything back there except for a couple of what I thought was free roaming cows. And then I realized there was a fence next door and they just got out. But back there is a National Forest campground. This is a beautiful campground. It's dry camping too, but it's all very small. The roadways were pretty small and narrow, and the sites were pretty small and narrow. So Most everybody back in there had a teardrop, or they had a camper van or something small like that. I also figured out that if you take a couple of miles past that, then there appeared to be an area there that was for like dispersed camping, boondocking, that kind of stuff. There's supposed to be another area that's very popular for dispersed camping here, but it's closed because of a criminal investigation at the time. I'll also say that in the campground here, we had 2 bars of Verizon 4G LTE. In those 2 bars, it was kind of a weak signal, so it seemed to do okay for browsing and such. Streaming, it had a little harder time with, and it was a little bit spotty. But for the most part, we did have usable cell service here, but I wouldn't be able to rely on it to work or anything like that, I don't. Now, our campground has a beautiful view of both the Gros Ventre Mountains as well as the Tetons that are right behind on the side of us here. Because it's later in the evening, I tried to set up where that was in my background, and the lighting just totally shaded me out, and so I wasn't able to do that. But I will show you how beautiful the mountains are here. So there's our camper and our campsite. We're just going to pan over a little bit. And so, as I say, you can see the mountains pretty well from here. So, our trip to the Tetons has been great. We did use the Gypsy app here, which we've used the last couple of times on our trip out west, and that has been phenomenal. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it, because they did, give us the stops that we should stop at and some history about the area, stuff we just wouldn't have known otherwise because we've been rushing through all this stuff. We did do a little bit hiking. We went around the Jenny Lake Trail. We walked around most of the mountain there. We did take the boat back over to the truck, but it's been a nice, enjoyable stay here. I want to tell you that about everywhere you go in this park, you're going to look up and you're going to see these beautiful mountains. It was a little bit rainy yesterday and cloudy, and the clouds have stuck around a little bit today, but it's been a lot nicer than what the forecast was, which was for rain again, so I'm not going to complain about that. It's also starting to get a little bit cold. It's September 20th. It's been getting down to low 20s at night. My batteries died last night because I didn't charge them up with the generator because I forgot, because the solar, it's cloudy, so that didn't work out too well. But right now, I think it's in the upper 30s, so it's starting to get a little chilly out here. That's why I got the old hat on. The Gypsy app also showed us some great prime locations for animal viewing. Every time we saw a moose, it was on this Gros Ventre road, but it wasn't in the campground here. It was like on the road. There's a stream that goes through next to the road, and every time we saw a moose, almost, it was in that stream, but it was almost like this where it was dusk and they were far away and it's hard to get a good picture with the camera. But we did almost hit one, and so I think I got a little footage of that here. That was interesting. I was trying to read a sign or something, and my wife started screaming, and so I looked up and there's a big moose. And looking back at the footage, it wasn't as close as what I thought it was, but it was right beside the road. But we stopped, and no harm, no foul. So on our trip here, we've seen a few elk, we've seen a few deer, we've seen a few antelope, but not as close as the last couple of places we've been. At the Badlands is where we saw the antelope the closest, and then we saw a few antelope at Yellowstone. Here, the antelope we've seen were pretty far away again. I'll say that I think I enjoyed this trip more than Yellowstone here in the Tetons, and I think it's because the Yellowstone trip, Yellowstone's so big, and you don't understand it till you go. I mean, you can hear that it's big and there's only one road to go around, but it was almost like going to one of those really big amusement parks where like you're on the go all the time, and it actually felt like we were on a day trip every day in the car. So it's like we spent all this time driving around that park trying to see everything that we could. And I think that we did see the majority of what we wanted to see, and that Gypsy app helped a lot with that. But that is somewhere that it really, I would try to spend a week there minimum, bare minimum, at least 4 days. I don't think you can see half of everything in less than 4 days. That's what I recommend. I'm no Yellowstone expert or anything like that, but we wished we would have had a little bit more time there. Now going back, if we come back again, I feel like we can do this as equal or more time than Yellowstone, because we've already seen all the little things that we wanted to see. So we already know where to go back to and what we would like to see again and stuff like that. Now in the morning, we're gonna have to start heading home. So we're gonna be heading home. We're gonna take 3 to 4 days to do that. If I find any interesting places to overnight park or anything like that, I'll add it to this video. But otherwise, that's gonna be the sad end to our westward journey. So you gotta head back east, gotta get back to Tennessee, gotta get back to work, because this doesn't support my lifestyle apparently. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for following us, thanks for supporting the channel, and hope we'll see you next time.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.